Welcome back again. You're still watching See Today Business on C Morning Show. Muslims view Ramadan as the right moment to reap the spiritual benefit, and also we can also reap other benefit, I think, from Ramadan, because Ramadan is the momentum of re-evaluating a life, right?
Sure.
Reflection, and maybe like commit to something new. For example, starting investment journey, right?
Yeah, my wife calls it hitting the reset button every year. And that goes for all aspects, whether it's spiritually and health-wise, physically as well, and perhaps financially. And to find out more, we have a personal finance enthusiast, Dani Rahmat, here in the studio. Mas Dani, thank you for joining us here in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Good to see you.
Okay.
Holiday mood.
I'm torn. When we talked about that we were going to discuss this topic, I thought of two different things. I thought, Ramadan, well, I'm saving a lot more money because I reduced certain expenses during Ramadan. For one, you're eating less. That's like the first thing that comes to mind, but also in other ways as well. However, by consuming less, I'm also spending a little bit more. For example, if anyone I have that works for me under my employ, I would have to give them an extra month's salary. I'm sending out Lebaran packages, like Eid al-Fitri package. I'm thinking about people I'm going to send to and stuff like that. So glad to have you here, Mas Dani, and we also obviously have Alin, an expert in finance as well. What's your thought on this? Is Ramadan a good time to start investing?
Yes, actually that is great. During Ramadan, we became more reflective about our life, about so many aspects of our life. And yes, because why this is a good opportunity to start thinking about finances better, because we will have what THR, Hari Raya allowance. So we have more money in Ramadan actually, and we spend less.
Okay.
So that is actually a good start to start thinking more about our finances.
Okay.
So as we have extra money, it should be good to be invested, right?
Yes.
And what should we consider before we start our journey in investment?
Actually, not only in investing. For Ramadan, we also have to evaluate whether our debt is good and whether we can meet all of our obligation. We also have the expenses that we have to pay in yearly basis. So this Lebaran allowance, and also maybe this is March, right? The month of bonuses.
Yes.
So there is also a good start to start thinking about how we paid out our debt, and if we still have money there and we already buy ticket and the things that we need for Lebaran. So the rest we can use for investing, of course.
Okay, so we do, like you mentioned, Eid al-Fitri holiday is a time when a lot of people do homecoming trips if they don't live in the city where they originate from. They want to visit families. If let's just take that extra month's salary, how much of that should go towards leisure and perhaps any extra expenses we incur through the holidays, and how much can we put aside for investing?
At least for the very first time when we receive that allowance, bonuses, and salary, just set aside 20%, minimum 10%.
Okay.
And or maybe if we can set aside 30%, that will be a lot better to put in our investment, our saving. So then the rest we can spend all of them for tickets, and then
New clothes. People like to get new clothes for Lebaran.
But I don't think that you will buy new clothes for Lebaran, right?
No, I haven't bought new clothes in
for
years.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work
true.
for you, right?
That's true.
And family members.
Yeah, that would be more meaningful then.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yes. So for those who still have debt,
Yeah.
what are your suggestions for them? Should they prioritize paying the debt first, and to what extent before allocating some for investment?
If the debt that they have is the consumptive to finance, like what, buying clothes, or maybe pay later to buy coffee before, and they still cannot pay off that debt, they should prioritize that.
Okay.
But if their debt is the productive one, that
Like
maybe
mortgage.
you buy property and then you buy car that you use as the capital for your business, then you just can keep that debt and pay the installment just as initially already said. But if there is a consumptive debt, that is definitely the one that you have to pay off first.
Okay.
And then I like that question, because when we think of debt, I'm often torn. If I get an extra month's salary, I'm often very tempted to to pay an extra payment, even though it's a productive loan. For example, like my mortgage, I always want to. Well, maybe I should just make an extra mortgage payment as opposed to taking out an investment or adding to my investment. What do you think?
That is interesting actually because we can calculate the alternative of paying off that debt.
Okay.
Keeping up the debt, we pay certain amount of interest, right?
Correct.
Of course. But then if we use the money that we have to invest, let's say invest in a very good company, and then we can get upside from that investment. So how much that upside that we can get compared to the interest that we have to pay?
Gotcha.
If the upside that we can get from the investment is bigger than the interest, then I will definitely keep the debt just the way as it is, and I will invest my money.
Okay, makes sense.
Yes. Every Ramadan, of course, we hope to be better and better. So how can we make this habit that we start developing during the Ramadan to sustain for the coming months?
Yeah, actually starting in Ramadan is better because during this month we stay ourselves. If you are fasting, we keep hungry for the day, right? And usually the control that we have is a bit lower. But then if we can hold our greed, and then we can make ourselves to invest. It will be better during the coming months when we no longer fasting. So if we can hold our urges to spend money, like buy new clothes and then spend anything that is not as meaningful
right?
as not necessary, it will be better for us because this is the time we train ourselves.
That's actually a good point because it's a month of discipline, right? It's a month where
Yes.
everyone's like, okay, I'm going to be fully disciplined. Like people aren't even this disciplined making New Year's resolutions. Usually like Ramadan is usually a month where many, and I even have non-Muslim friends that become disciplined because they're just surrounded by people who are fasting and they end up refraining from doing a lot of things that they normally do as well.
Yes.
So this can be a good way for you to kickstart that habit again into investing.
Yes.
Okay, when we talk about investing, are we talking about adding to investments we already have for those that have a portfolio, or are you talking about, do you think there are investments out there that are actually targeting the Ramadan month that we should look into as well?
Just adding the portfolio that we already have, that is already good enough.
Okay.
But then if we, for those who haven't even started to invest, maybe this is the time that they can start to try to invest.
Okay.
So many people, maybe for example, like for stocks, so many people afraid to enter into the stock market. Maybe this time, when they have more money, that they don't necessarily have to spend and they don't have to pay anything, they can start to use that extra money to put it into the stock market, and then they can try to discipline themselves to hold their urges to sell the stock when it goes down or whatever happened in the market. So they can learn that investment for the very first time now.
It's a good time. I mean, you both should know this, but do you ever notice any particular fluctuations in the market during Ramadan? Because people's behavior changes as well. Are there anything in particular that are more attractive to perhaps?
Well, I don't know whether this can be supported by statistics, but closer to the Idul Fitri holidays, the turnover or the liquidity in the stock market usually reduced.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And it is, I think, prone to correction, right? For the stock prices, right? Because people wants to have cash
Yes,
for
people
the
want to have
holiday.
cash.
That makes sense.
But then actually when the price is going down, lower, actually that is the good opportunity to enter,
Best
right?
time, exactly.
Ah.
Because investment is all about buying low and selling high.
Correct.
So if the prices is going down, why don't we start to invest?
There you go.
Yes, as long as we have like clear objectives,
Yes.
right? And a long-term horizon.
Long-term horizon, and we have at least we understand what we are buying. So doesn't matter if you buy stocks or maybe buy gold or maybe buy whatever instrument that you want to buy.
Sukuk, the state
And
sukuk,
sukuk, yes.
are also being offered,
Yes.
right, around this time.
Government bond is still offered currently, right?
Yes.
There is also a good start to invest.
So what other suggestions or tips you would give for the novice investors?
I would say that please, what is it? Use your objective, your own needs, and then what you know as your guidance instead of listening to the influencers out there that can be very loud.
Very loud and tempting,
Yes, very loud and tempting.
but risky.
Yes.
Yeah, I think one of the things that have helped me reduce my spending, and this is outside of Ramadan as well, is reducing my usage of social media. I find that social media, without us realizing, is actually selling us things a lot of time, whether it's influencers showing off something cool, a new trend, makes you want to have something. And very rarely, except for the buzzers, are they actually people out there going, hey, you know what you should do? Don't buy things, and in fact, just save your money or invest it wisely. You never see that. In fact, you just see people telling you, it's more of a consumerism that teaches you to spend as opposed to save.
Even with the current trend of takjil war,
Yes.
maybe people buy takjil more now.
Correct, you're right.
Yeah,
As
you
simple
are
as that.
driven to be more into consumerism.
Yeah.
There you go, indeed.
But I think it's okay. We support local business.
Yes, of course, of course, of
Takjil-
course. Yes,
takjil
takjil war. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you invest 30% of your bonus salary, you still have plenty left over for the
Yes.
takjil and holiday expenses as
Yes.
well.
Of course.
Right.
So even though like during the whole Ramadan, we are conditioned to be more self-regulated, self-controlled, but once we come to the Idul Fitri holiday seasons, it seems like we are like break free from all
Yeah.
chains.
But-
And then we seem to like can validate any extra spending during the holidays.
yes.
So how can we still be
Kind of maintain this
stick to
discipline,
our
right?
spending
So-
plan?
That is why we have to invest during Ramadan so that we already have money saved there. So that during Idul Fitri and the celebration time, we can spend all the money left.
Okay,
Because-
so the others locked
yes.
away already, right?
We already lock away the portion of for our future. So the rest money that we have, we can spend it all the way we want.
Yes, yes. That's a great arrangement, yeah. So
Yes.
just put it into our investment account and then the rest we can spend
Yes,
less guilty without guilt.
yes, of course. And for the next year, we still have the money that we are getting now.
Okay.
in
And I think
investment.
it can be a habit forming in the sense that we go through Ramadan every year, and if you're able to put away 20 to 30% of your salary this year and then not touch it, and then you realize next year, hey, I put that extra money away, I can do the same thing this year or
Yes.
perhaps even more, right?
And maybe yes, next year you will save like 50%, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, if you know you can do 30, why not 40?
yeah,
And you can keep going from there.
Very
that would be great.
So I think one of the challenging part of investing is how to be patient for
Yes.
the compounding effect to start working magically, right?
Yes.
Do you have any insights on this or from your own personal experience?
Yeah, actually this year, this Ramadan coincide with the timing of some big companies
Dividends.
paying dividends.
Oh, is that
So
right?
that is also one way why we should invest this Ramadan, because once we buy the stock that will pay dividend, we can use that dividend to reinvest. So that we understand that reinvest is the one of the key that we can get that compounding interest effect.
So safe to say then it's always better to just leave any sort of investments to roll over automatically
Yes.
along with the interest?
Yeah.
Okay, there you
Yeah,
go.
it's good. It's like
It's very tempting for me
our-
sometimes to take the interest and buy something for myself. That's why I asked.
Or you can like withdraw the interest, but make the capital stay there and
Yeah.
be invested.
But if you roll it over, you just get a little bit larger amount every time, right?
Yes.
it becomes more stronger.
That is how our assets grow.
Yeah.
Yes, so thank you so much,
Thank
Dani
you for
Rama,
having me.
for sharing your insights.
Thank you.
I hope all the money habit that we start inhibiting this Ramadan will sustain in the coming years.
As well as all the other good habits you're supposed to be picking up, right?
Yes, that's right,
Stay
Paul.
healthy out there, guys. All right, thank you to Mas Dani. We're going to take a short break here on the program, but we do have more news for you. In case you did join us late, we'll recap some of our top stories for you when we return. Stay with us.